The Last Pope. It was written by a young Spanish writer, and it is based on pretty real Vatican history, and is concerned with the sudden death of Pope John Paul I and all the questions raised about that death. Anyway, there's a young woman journalist who's becomes involved in trying to discover the politics and whatever else might be involved in the death of this pope. And it was written in 2006. It's sort of Dan Brown light. Very readable though. I enjoyed it.
Called Sail.
Sail.
It's I think the mother is a doctor, and her husband has recently passed away, and so she thinks she has some teenage kids. I think there are 3 of them, and she thinks if they go out on their sailboat that they've always enjoyed when her husband was alive, that they would kind of reunite the family. So this is the plan. Only
I could already guess.
only it turns out to be a real page turner with what happens to them, because they have an explosion on the boat just as they're outside the harbor, and then I'm not going to tell you any more about it because
It would give it away.
it moves pretty fast and it has lots of twists and turns in the end.
This one, but probably some of you have Garrison Keillor's Pontoon. I'll read what the jacket says. It's so like him. In Lake Wobegon lives a good Lutheran lady who is quite prepared to die and wishes to be cremated and her ashes placed inside a bowling ball and dropped into the lake. No prayers, no hymns, thank you very much. Meanwhile, the Detmer girl returns from California where she has made a killing in veterinary aromatherapy.
She's absolutely fascinating. I got a little bogged down in the politics. She went into a lot of details with the politics, but she was a very fascinating lady, and you could see how Princess Di turned out the way she did.
It's so predictive.
Yes.
Genetically, it's amazing.
Yes, and even if you look at the pictures, you can see the bloodline.
Yeah.
And I thought the best part was she used excerpts of letters, and we've lost the art of letter writing.
That's right.
They were so articulate, and they kept the letters. She had thousands of letters that she kept, but they were so articulate.
John Grisham's The Broker. And this is, a typical John Grisham. I think he tells a great yarn. And a few times ago...
You have 2?
Yes. Jane Marie was talking about it and said this book. And Esther piped in and said, "Oh, I read that. That was a good one." So I took it and I got home.
And you already had it.
Well, I have Jean Marie's and Esther's.
So then, throughout the whole book, you're meeting all these characters, and you're finding their weaknesses and their strengths and their pitfalls, and so throughout the book you go, maybe that's who it is. Then maybe who it is. Then that's who it is. And it's kind of interesting at the end to find out who it is and how it happened.
I think it's been about a year since I read this, and I recommend it highly. It's called The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak. He's an author from Australia. He's very young. He's about 34 years old.
I didn't know from Australia.
Yeah. I just saw an interview with him. And anyway, it's 1939. We're in Nazi Germany. The country is holding its breath. And death has never been busier and will become busier still. It's the first book I've ever read where death is the narrator.
He said, "What's it about?" And I said, "It's about this young lady who was murdered. And it's written from her point of view, and she's in heaven."
Thank God.
Not my cup of tea. I'm just, it wasn't mine. And so
You agree?
I couldn't get it.
Yeah. And so it can go back in the back.